some more.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Clash Royale with Miss G-Pop. I am on the line with Indian Boy 23, aka Chatty, and he has just played a best of 5 in a pretty fabulous little league called Hydra League. And this is Nova EG Hydra. Kind of in our off season, we do little leagues just between the members of the clan. So the semi-final match was today. So Indian Boy is here and he's going to show us the 5 matches and kind of walk us through. So welcome, Indian Boy.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I am doing a-okay for, 1:30 in the morning. It's a great time to be awake. I'm excited.
It is 3:15 a.m. for me. That's diehards, right, of Clash Royale and content creation.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like my parents are always like, "Hey, maybe stop playing that game," and I'm like, "You don't understand."
Oh, that's awesome! So I'm really excited to see these.
Yeah, always down to talk Clash Royale. Always.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's get into match number 1 here. And all of the matches Chatty is playing against DaMite. It was a best of 5. And again, this is Nova EG Hydra League. And you may be wondering, well, why are you in Aurora Esports? Well, our man Chatty here just recently got contracted as a pro player for Aurora Esports, which is so unbelievably amazing. And it just happened, like you just moved over there recently. How are you feeling since you moved there?
Honestly, the concept of being paid to play an esport is just mind-boggling. And for those paying attention, I don't get paid a whole lot, but just the fact that I'm gonna have money in my PayPal account next week is just mind-boggling.
That's pretty exciting to do something you love doing.
Yeah, exactly, and it's honestly it's a very like addicting game also. So it somewhat justifies me playing excruciating hours of this. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, and I'm so excited for you. Of course, we were very sad to lose you at Nova EG Hydra, but moving on to very big things. So we're super happy for you, and can't wait to see how this progresses for you.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where our esports team moves going forward. So yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the first match here. We'll do the pause thing at the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm at 3 minutes.
Perfect. And 3, 2, 1, play.
Awesome.
Oh, right away I can see Rascals.
Yeah, and this was something that actually both of us were talking about because initially the Rascals card just seems very unknowing just to like the casual audience, but honestly I think it might already be a broken card. And so there's just a lot of I don't know what the right word is, but like definitely it might need a nerf already, depending on what people do to adjust to it. But it's definitely going to be a strong card if no one accounts for like countering this card. And so we were like talking about how maybe Valkyrie and cards that do that sort of like bowler even will be more viable, having to counter cards like the Rascals and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, DaMite's playing this new bait variation with the Rascals. And for those that don't know, the Rascals, the female ones that is, they are loggable, and so it now adds a new card that you have to worry about in terms of like dealing with bait and all sorts of other stuff.
It's definitely, I think, going to bring the bait meta back in stronger, for sure.
Oh, of course. And that's like another essence of like why it's a broken card, because typically I would associate a card like this with like a knight and an archer pairing, typically. but not only is it 1 elixir cheaper, the big rascal, the male rascal that is, has way more HP than a knight.
Oh, it does.
And so, and now it actually has like a health comparable to a bowler actually, which is very tanky, doesn't die to rocket. And so now it's just an unbelievable card in that you have a big tank and then essentially 2 mini spear, or not spear gobs, but dark goblins behind.
Right, because they do fire faster than an archer, right?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. It doesn't do as much damage, or it might do as much, if not more. So it's a crazy good card.
What a good call there, putting the miner on the dark goblin.
Yes. And initially, when I saw him playing the Rascals, I was very confused. I was like, is he trying to pull one on me? But then I realized that CWA and a bunch of other pros had started releasing new new decks on the Rascals, and so I then immediately assumed that this wasn't some sort of troll deck.
Right, yeah.
But as soon as I was able to take advantage of, I believe, like a misplaced princess or a misplaced poison, I was able to capitalize, take a tower, and then counter push, because then he had to poison a naked tower.
Right.
And then was able to cop the dub, so yeah.
Wow, very well played, that's for sure. And it's kind of a little salty for DaMite, because I know DaMite for quite some time now, and he is a very, very good Three Musketeer player.
Oh yeah, he's definitely, he knows how to counter 3M very well, and I'm sure he was bummed. Yes. That was the first deck he got to face, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's how he got 19 wins also, was with Three Musketeers, so
probably.
That is his deck. So I think that losing against that in the first match was probably a little tilty for him, but let's go ahead and check out match number 2.
Of course.
So I'll pause at the beginning here. I'm sitting at 3 minutes.
Yes.
Perfect. And 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay.
So,
and
were there any restrictions or anything like this, or you could just bring any deck any cards you wanted?
Yeah, so for this, you could play any deck, no bans, no nothing. So it's essentially just a free for all. You can bring the same deck over and over again. It was bring your best deck and see if that works. And so
so here you guys actually have similar. Oh, it's a mirror matchup.
It's the very deck that CWA brought up that was dominating in China.
In China CRL?
Yeah.
Right. Look at that. How funny is that you guys both picked that as your second match deck?
Oh, I know. I'm not sure. No, yeah, I think this was the only mirror matchup that we had. But as you can tell, he has Fireball. And in this particular matchup, Fireball is a much better spell to have.
Right, and against the Three Musketeers.
Exactly, yeah. Or even the Hunter, because the Hunter just destroys a Hog. And as you can see on this play, my Hog only gets 2 shots. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just very painful proceedings from here as I try and counter like the Hunter, and then like I have to use the Hunter there to make sure it can't decimate any of the skeletons. And as you can see, I had to devote so much on defense that I'm just way behind on Elixir. Yeah.
Well, it's tough because a lot of people, the Hunter is still like a pretty underused card. So a lot of people are not super familiar on the mechanics of how it works. And when it has all those little cannonballs that kind of fan out, but if you have something that's right up against it, all the cannonballs are going on that one target. So it actually hits like a mini P.E.K.K.A. Which I think that a lot of people can still have trouble defending it. So,
of course.
Yeah, it's definitely has its strengths, that's for sure. Oh, nice fireball there. Took out the muskies.
Yeah, and I think that was my fault. I should have definitely split 2 muskies to the other side.
Right, and only one.
And instead, I was. Yeah, I was more concerned about defending a hog, a hog and a muskie.
Right.
And then as you can see here, because I have to commit so much to taking a tower, he just is able to drop my tower so low.
Right. Very similar to in the first match where he had to kind of use that poison in an over defense way or over offensive way.
Yeah.
And then just couldn't keep up from that elixir
Exactly,
disadvantage.
yeah.
Gotcha.
And then now I'm tasked with essentially doing like 2,000 damage when he only needs 2 fireballs at this point.
Right. Yeah.
And so at this point, I know that he's going to try and do 3M in the middle, and so then I have the hunter prepared for that, but even then, I'm still not able to defend all that well.
Right. Well, you
And
did
then at
defend
that
very
point-
well. I mean, one muskie shot and one and one grandpa shot, and then a fireball to finish off the tower. So
Yeah.
wow, that was
But even
that's
then-
crazy, that mirror matchup. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he played that phenomenally, so it was very well fought. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so now we're sitting at 1-1, and you're going
Yes.
into match number 3. So we haven't showed what the deck is yet. What are your thoughts going into match 3 of what you should bring?
And so I was concerned that he would bring a minor deck or hog. And so with this deck, I was absolutely positive that I'd need something with NATO in it.
Okay.
And currently one of my favorite decks is Hog NATO with Ice Wiz.
Oh, nice.
And I just really like that if your opponent doesn't have lightning, they're going to struggle.
Right.
And if they do have lightning, and typically you'd only see that in perhaps Lava Hound or Golem, you wouldn't lightning a Tombstone. And so
Right.
you would have to wait to use it on an Ice Wiz and then a Mega Minion, but then the Golem gets obliterated by a Tombstone.
Right. Okay.
And so that's why I really like this deck. But then I also knew that he'd probably bring Hog or Miner, and so then even if he had Poison or Fireball, it wouldn't be as effective.
Right. Okay, awesome. Well, let's get in and watch this one here.
Yes.
Okay, so pause here. I'm actually at 257 right now.
Okay, 257.
Okay, so are you ready? 3,
Yes.
2, 1, play. Perfect. Every time I do that, I think of CWA.
Oh, of course.
Well, I've
Yeah.
seen like every single one of his YouTube videos, and
Yeah.
he's such an amazing influencer in the community, and yeah, he followed me on Twitter and Twitch recently, and I totally fangirled out. But yeah, okay.
No,
so...
sorry. I just wanted to interject. He's by far one of my favorite content creators by far, and I just love every single one of his videos. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, it's. I think we're very, very lucky that he likes Clash Royale.
Of course, and that he's such a important part of this community. That's for sure.
Absolutely, definitely. So you're playing against another kind of bait style deck with the Rascals again, and you were right. He did end up bringing a minor poison.
Yes, and for some reason I forgot that he had the Rascals, and so I completely forgot he was playing the same exact deck that he brought out for the first game, and so I thought that he'd have Goblin Gang or something like that, and so when I was attacking or going on offense, I immediately thought that he would use a Goblin Gang, but then I was clearly wrong and I didn't get any damage.
Right.
So yeah, and then there I knew he would try and chip me out, so I had the Tombstone pre-placed, and
in a perfect
that got
position
me
there too, because it let the Dark Goblin cross the river, and then shoot at the Tombstone instead of the
exactly, because in this deck you don't have anything that you really need to draw to the Tombstone.
Right.
And so in examples like that, you'd want to place it lower so that you can drag Tombstone or drag objects close to the King Tower and to into the other tower as well, so that you can get
like,
more DPS.
Spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Yeah, that sweet spot it's dirty. It's sweet, but it's dirty.
Of course, yeah.
Awesome. Nice poison there to get the tombstone in, a predictive poison.
Exactly, yeah.
Beautiful. Tower goes down.
And then here, I kind of know that my tower's lost, but I still don't want to take any incidental, like, or too much damage.
Right, so just kind of a light defense.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's definitely having a hard time with the your Hog Rider pushes with the Hog poison.
Yeah.
These Rascals, though, my goodness, did they ever do a ton of damage? Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Great log
And
value.
thankfully, I'm able to get a very juicy log there, but I've already accrued at least 1,000-ish damage on my tower, and so that was not a great time. And then here he gives me some great poison value, so then I capitalize on that. But even then, I just take way too much damage, and so, or I would have, but I get that log down to prevent as much damage as possible.
Do the Rascals die to tornado?
I haven't checked that mechanic exactly. My initial thought is no. Just because it doesn't die to zap.
Oh, okay, so it's probably the same as stab goblins then.
Yeah, or a little bit sturdier, yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh, that one stab goblin.
And that I missed just one goblin. That was what turned the tables in this one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but
it's crazy how like I've had those matches where you miss like one bat or one goblin, and it just sits there, and say like a giant is tanking and you have an ice wizard or something that's really slowing it down, but then you have this like one little teeny tiny crappy little thing just slowly taking down hundreds of damage off of your tower. Oh my goodness, look how close this is.
Yep. And here I thought I had him for sure. I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, ooh, that's it. That's all I need.
Oh,
and then
my
as
goodness.
you see,
wow.
I was so shell shocked that actually happened.
Oh my goodness. You needed like a half second more.
Or no, my poison actually didn't do the full damage.
Oh, it left the 2. Oh my goodness.
It left 2 HP, and so I thought, yeah, the math really did me dirty. Because I if I had known, I definitely would have logged way earlier. But
right, yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
it's
definitely a really bad moment for sure.
So now you're sitting here. You're down 2 matches, and you've won 1. So going into match number 4, I mean, well, they know that there were 5 matches, but so going into number 4 though, so you knew that you had to win this or it was game over.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see how number 4 shapes up to be.
Yeah, and so for this match, I know that he likes playing decks that sort of cycle fast or have a win condition that's can get damage, not necessarily like a tower all at once. So like he prefers Hog, Miner, Baits, stuff like that. And so then I figured that I would bring out a deck that not only can counter Hog or Miner with a NATO, that is.
Right.
I would try and get a beatdowny deck, and so I decided to bring the really strong Golem Double Prince deck.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm excited to see how this one's gonna shape up.
This one,
than the rest of your decks for sure so far. So,
yeah.
Are you ready at the beginning here?
I am stopped at 3 minutes.
Perfect. Me too. All right. 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. So, what's your strategy when playing the Golem beatdown decks? Do you play Golem in single elixir, or are you always waiting until double elixir to drop that Golem, or situational?
Well, so yeah, again, so you really never want to play anything, or you want to play very passively, not a lot of offense, and it's mostly just playing defense, stacking not golems, pumps, that is.
Right.
And But here, since he already has his musketeers already down the field and not really doing anything defensively, I know that he won't have enough elixir to back up the lane with the one musketeer, with like a hog or something like that to apply a lot of pressure. And so then I decide to go in with a very heavy golem push right here.
Right. Is your goal to just try and steamroll him at this point? Because you took all the damage from those three muskies, so he pretty much took your tower down. Ooh. But that golem...
Yeah, and here I realize he won't have enough to get back to a three musketeer. Right. And so then I decide to go really heavy with Baby Dragon Prince.
Nice.
And thankfully here he decides not to really push the matter in terms of defense, but that, as you can really tower's dwindling, and at this point he sort of realized, oh, I took way too much damage, and now the game's pretty much over. So then he just allows me to take the tower so that we can move on to the next match. Right.
At that point, there's really nothing that can be done, unfortunately.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a tower or something else to like change the direction of the golem. Yeah, exactly. So that was. I think the most important call I made there was, even though I knew I would take a bunch of damage from the three musketeers, I knew that if I got a really good push going, I could sort of end up in the position where I ended up, which was just 3 crowning him before even double elixir started.
Right. So that's a great example of using your tower HP as a resource, and really playing that chess match, thinking 3-4 moves into the future, and how you're going to end the game, basically.
Of course, yeah.
Very, very well played. Okay, so here's for all the marbles now, going into match number 5. Oh, I'm ready for this one. I can't imagine how, like, I've been in some best of matches as well, and it's like, you've already, 4 matches, that's quite a bit going in already, so you know that, the last 30-40 minutes of gameplay, and you're like, okay, now we know, let's get in.
Yeah, definitely. And this match was terrifying throughout, and you'll see when we watch the replay that, like, especially if you were to sort of imagine yourself in either of our shoes, that the entire match is very nerve-wracking. And so...
Oh, I'm excited. Yeah. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, let's get into it. I'm at 2:59.
All right, I'm at 3 minutes. Okay, 3, 2, 1, play.
Awesome.
Oh, so it looks like you're bringing the same deck then.
Yeah, and I had a gut feeling that he'd play the same deck, and I felt like I knew the matchup well enough to take him on for it. So, and thankfully I had Pump in my starting hand, but then because I placed it there, I couldn't NATO it to my King Tower.
Otherwise, he would just take the Pump out. So.
Yeah, it's very hard to sort of get that placement where if you wanted to, you wouldn't hit the. You wouldn't get it to hit your Pump and go direct for the King Tower, but that placement's very precise.
Right, and it's probably like a 9 times out of 10 it's missed, unless you've done it, a million times. So
yeah. And here I figured he wouldn't try and go for a hog push, and so here I decided to make my life a little bit easier, NATO the 3 musketeers to 1 lane, and then sort of defend that casually.
Right.
But he did a really ballsy play. He knows I don't have a big spell, and so he goes heavy in this lane.
So you're just defending it lightly here again.
Yeah, I dedicated 7 elixir to this, so, and I lose essentially that tower, but in a similar fashion, he's losing his.
Right, so it is a tower
trade. I like where I'm standing in terms of being in this sort of race for tower health, or for total towers remaining.
Right, yeah.
And so I think here he learned from his last mistake not to fireball this, and so he drops the 3M in the back, of course. And here I don't know why I zapped. I felt that the more damage that was on them, the less I'd have to worry about. And I'm now sort of regretting doing that play altogether.
Oh, okay.
But, and as you'll see here, I thought the Baby Dragon would do a good enough job defending, but clearly the Musketeers lock on, and then the Hog Rider is now doing a number on my tower. But here I realize, you know, taking a 3 crown, and I'm definitely not going to get a second tower if I wanted to, so why not try and go for all of this?
Right, yeah. And that's the thing, like with only 485 left on your Princess Tower, you know that it's either it's gonna have to come down to a 3 crown. So instead of trying to go for his other Princess Tower and then for the 3 crown, you just gotta go right for that 3 crown.
Exactly.
And just let him take that tower, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so here I realize there's no chance I'll defend it. He has a large spell, and so here I really need tower damage as soon as possible. And as you see here, I try and do my best to give myself a chance at sort of getting death damage and tower damage, and
wow.
I was sweating the entire time, especially once double elixir. Yeah, and so with what, like 4 or 5 seconds left, I was able to 3 crown him, but
wow.
It was, to say it was calculated is not fair because that was terrifying.
Oh, that's amazing though. You're such a good player. I'm so excited that you've gotten contracted as a pro player, and I'm just pulling up your profile here to show everybody. Oh, and it looks like you hit a new personal best last season as well.
That is correct, yeah, and the deck that you see on my profile is the one I currently that I use. I, for some reason, felt that Lava Loon would stay strong forever, even though it clearly has fallen off a cliff. But I've found a lot of success, especially as a level 12, like especially when you need 3 shots to kill a goblin gang and stuff like that. I feel like I found a lot of success for being a level 12.
Nice.
And especially running against some max accounts and whatnot. So it's I felt last season was really cool, especially getting to Master 2, which was my personal goal.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And then I'm about a week away from getting a max Tombstone, and from there I only need 2 more cards to max out, even though getting 18 more Lava Hounds is problematic.
Oh, of course, yeah, to get that max legendary.
Yeah.
I mean, level 4 is tough, but it's not like a crazy hill to climb in the long run. Like I have, because you only need 10 of them to get that level 4. So I now can get my miner to level 4. That's my very first legendary. I just need the gold for it. But I keep spending gold on other things. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, I was saying, I also just leveled up my miner to level 4 because I am trying to find a different deck that will be easier to level up, and miner at level 4 is fairly similar to miner at level 5 as opposed to a Lava Hound or a Log at level 5, so
the mechanics don't change as much, so...
Exactly, and
or interactions, I should say.
Yeah, exactly, but I do consider myself a stronger beatdown player, so I do like playing Golem and Lava Hound a lot, and it's just a matter of sticking with one deck that I can just overlevel and try and do my best on ladder. And, I mean, we'll see how that goes, but...
For sure. Well, I mean, you have, 18 wins, you have, almost 84,000 cards won, so really, and as a pro player, that's where you're going to shine more is in tournament standard modes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You have 9 War Day wins, so is that you haven't lost one yet?
I have not lost one yet, yeah.
So there's kind of a good example of the skill that you have. So thank you so much for coming on and showing us these amazing battles. They were very, very good, and I think DaMite as well is an amazing player, as you could see. Each match was very, very close, except for number 4. Other than that, every single match was super, super close. You guys are both amazing players. And a shout out to, do you have a shout out for anybody, or?
Not really. No, I'm not really huge on the global scheme yet, but maybe next time if I come on your channel, I'll have something for you.
Awesome. Well, I'll definitely put your Twitter link in the description below.
Awesome.
And everybody, you should go and follow Chatty. on Twitter. Super amazing player, and definitely up and coming. So I think that.
Oh, you're too kind. You are too kind.
Oh, well, it's been so wonderful, and I will put all of the links in the descriptions for the different decks that were used in the challenge here. And also, you guys can check out my live streams on Twitch and follow me on Twitter and Discord. I now have a Discord server as well, so if you want to come and hang out, you are more than welcome to, and all that information will be in the description below. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.